Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. And a special thanks to those of you who filled in the survey that I put out a few weeks ago as part of my PhD research. I wanted to talk a little bit about that because we found some interesting things that I would like to talk to you about and also maybe motivate you to be involved a little more. To do that, I thought I'd just start with a story about roughly how we got here. When I was back doing my undergrad ages ago in psychology, the one of the lecturers told us at one point in, I think in third year or something, that he says, oh, look, the reason there's no mental diseases is because we don't know the cause, right? So if you look at the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, for example, all these lists of mental disorders, they're all disorders. And the reason we use that term is because it's a medical way of talking about this, that they're just clusters of symptoms about which we don't know the cause. So for example, we have, back in the 80s, there's autoimmune deficiency syndromes. You have AIDS, and there's all these people presenting with the same clusters of symptoms and dying from these symptoms, but not knowing why it's happening. Then over time, the HIV virus is discovered. So now you actually know the cause of well, in this case, the syndrome, and the syndrome becomes a disease. So this is sort of the way it works, to oversimplify it. But in terms of anything like anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress, obsessive compulsive, you name it, the reason they're called disorders for the most part is because we don't know the cause. And when you don't know the cause, what that means is you can't really be sure of the treatment. It's just, the same would have happened with the coronavirus, people presenting and with the same illness, but not knowing why until you can find that virus. And then you know what's causing it and then start to develop treatments over time that'll get better and better. Of course, if you don't know the cause of an illness or a mental disorder, then developing treatments is really difficult. And what we have, and we see this in the space now, in psychology now, that there are treatments developed for some disorders that work for some people and not others, and they're developed for some disorders that also work for others. And there's this real kind of cross-pollination and mix, overlap of symptoms and treatments and so on. And so that being said, there has been quite a push in for some years now to sort of drill down more and more and more and find out what sort of things predict these symptoms. And it's a really exciting area of research, which is sort of where I'm involved at the moment, because what we're looking at is not just the things that predict mental well-being, mental disorders, and so on, but actually different elements within those predictors. Okay, and that's what these surveys all about, is trying to find out what more about those predictors and what influences them. Yeah, that's as much as I can say right now, because what we've found is that in that survey I put out, there's a few actual questions. If we just asked something slightly differently, we would have got a much clearer picture. So I've put together the survey, and I'm going to ask your time, please, once again, for your kindness to fill it out. And it will feel very similar to the last one. Those of you who did it last time, it'll feel very similar. If you didn't do it last time, then great, it's new. At least now you have some idea of what's behind it. And at the end of that survey, there's another video that I've put together with some information about what we found in those preliminary results. So you'll have a much better idea of what you're participating in by taking part in it. So I hope that's clear. I hope that's interesting for you. Whether it's interesting or not, I would really ask for your time and your kindness in filling it out. And of course, if you have any questions at all you got to do is send me an email. I'll answer you as soon as I can. All right, thanks again. Speak soon.